Hey guys, Jason here and welcome to the Abyss Garage. And today I'm going to be making a hand shift lever for the rotary trans on the Shovelhead build. Now I do realize that this shouldn't really be too big of a deal. It's just a couple pieces of metal drilled out and welded together with your choice of a shift knob. But I'm going to try and hold myself to, or at least give myself a little bit of a challenge here. And I do not want to put any additional cost out to make this, whether it's 1 penny, $10, or even 100. So I'm going to be using leftover materials I have kicking around here in the garage to make this piece. And now that I have the C-pan, which is off of it right now, but now that I have that done, I'm able to figure out exactly where the shift lever is going to need to be. So let's get to it. All right, so I have a piece of aluminum welding rod here. You could use, I guess, a coat hanger or anything like that, but this was just easy to grab. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a almost like a template here. I'm going to just simply wrap it around the bolt holes, the bolts, and then tighten it down, and then just get this bent and shaped into a position where I think it'll be comfortable. I have never ridden a foot clutch bike, so I know that sounds crazy to some people. But so I don't know if you'd be like, oh yeah, you have to stick the shift knob over here regardless of the situation. Like, I don't know. So we're just going to figure that out. But I think this might be the best route to take. All right, so here we go. We got our mocked up bracket. Just using, like I said, aluminum welding rod. Now what I ended up doing was sitting on this bike and taking my hand in the riding position, feet on the pegs, and constantly swinging my hand down, and it naturally wanted to fall to about here. This is where it felt comfortable, so I'm not trying to reach. It's a natural feeling to go for this shift knob here. And shout out to the guys at Iron Trap. I picked this up at the Hershey pile a couple of years ago, so I think that's fitting for this bike. And if we'll come over here and relying on mechanical drawing class from 15 plus years ago, maybe even 20 now, geez. But went ahead and drew up some measurements here, showing that I got to go up X amount of inches over, and even figured out the degree bend that's required to get that into the natural position, along with this this other plate piece that I need to cut out to weld, hopefully this rod to this plate, and then obviously drill it out so that way I can get myself a shift knob. So let's see if I can follow through with that task. All right, so I got my 5/8 material here. This is leftovers from the sissy bar. Got this turned down to about 7/16 of an inch. It seemed to be a good size here as far as for my fingers to go into. And it's not thin enough that you're going to be able to bend, but also not too thick. And so seems to be the right size. I got this end here tapped to accept the shift knob itself. So that part's done. So now I'm gonna go off of my my measurements here I took down and mark this, get this heated up in the vise with the torch, and get it bent over. All right, so before I get ahead of myself, you saw I was marking and then drilling out to match up with the existing holes for this plate. And so before I get any further, I want to make sure that this fits properly and we're good to go. Perfect. It looks like our holes even line up. All right, so here's our shifter all made up. I ended up having to bend this up here to clear the oil tank. I was actually having an issue where downshifting going into first rather, or actually I guess downshifting. We were hitting the tank, so I had to bend that. I did that bend, and then what happened was it was coming straight out, and it felt all right, but it needed improvement. So I went ahead and off camera, just as a quick tip, or at least I thought, the first time I bent this, I ended up marking up the metal itself. So I had to file that out to smooth it out as best as I could. Up here, what I ended up doing was double nutting on the threaded portion, and that allowed me to stick a socket with an extension, so that way I could get leverage, but I also I didn't have to worry about heating or damaging this rather. So that I thought worked out good. So that's a tip for you guys if you're running into anything related when you're heating. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Chamfered out these holes, and obviously it lines up. So let's bolt this thing on. I got a shifter now. Hey, what do you know? So another piece of the puzzle is complete on this Shovelhead chopper build. I know I say it a lot, but I'm really happy with how this came out. Fairly straightforward, just as far as heating and bending the rod itself to get the right position that I needed. And really happy how this plate itself turned out as far as chamfering, matching up the like the existing pattern to what I had originally on there set up for the regular normal like foot shift setup. And yeah, so that's what I have for you guys on today's video here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this along in the build process, and I'll see you guys around for the next video on this Shovelhead build in the Abyss Garage. Take care, guys.